All right, it's Tuesday, December 5, 12:50 in the afternoon. I am wrapping up today a red day, one win, two losses. Lost $239 on my two PA accounts I traded today and $6,225 on my evaluations between the eight of them combined. And this is where I'm documenting my trading journey using my Apex Trader funding accounts. And not going too well today. It actually wasn't as bad as it looks like in my mind. I had one loss that was a really small loss, and then that was on a PATS trade. So I am now 4 and 8 overall on YouTube trading PATS entries. Not very good, 33%. And and then I took a NLTS LO today. Got my seventh loss on that, so I'm now 19 and 7 on those overall for 73% on that setup, and 40 and 14 altogether on NLTS, 74%. Not terrible. And I'm 46 and 22 overall on YouTube for all my trades. There was a third trade I took today, which I'll get into talking about. I'm calling it ALR, and first time I've taken that on YouTube and want to know. That goes under the discretionary trading. So I'm 2-0 taking discretionary trades. The first one was a news trade. Maybe I'll update that here. Let's do that actually. Yeah, so here we go. So one news trade, just that was a YOLO on one of my accounts, or a couple of my accounts that got a win but didn't get enough to pass the accounts that day. Discretionary trading, 2-0 altogether, and I'll have to clean that up. And what do we say? Let's get into the trading actually. All right, so today essentially looks like a big range overall. How I had this originally was I had it like an opening range down here, and then I had opened it up later in the day just to kind of see it as a big range day overall. Really didn't play a part down here at all. Never got back to the lows. And where to begin? I started early today. I started right around the open, around 6:30, and looked like we were kind of in a range-like area to start with. And then on the news, I actually wanted to, and I got an account ready. I wanted to take this 150K account, number 24, and I was going to just YOLO it with, I forget whether it did 8 or 10 contracts or 12 contracts or something like that. And I was going to just play the news, which was right here at 7. And I had my order ready. And what I was thinking was, because we were in this kind of range, the green one, what I was thinking was that perhaps the news will kick in and I'll bounce down first, but I was thinking that it would close the gap of the previous day's close. So that's what I was looking for it to do. And this thing shot up, and this candle, it went so fast, my data actually froze for a few seconds. So I didn't enter, and then it just, really kind of slowed down and just kind of stacked up. And then the bars got real small again and just kind of became like normal bars. And I wanted to wait for kind of like a second retest of what the range highs were here. And it just didn't do it, and went and closed the gap immediately, pretty quickly. So just ended up not taking a trade. I didn't want to place the order just before the news hit, even though that's what I was thinking, because a lot of times I see it kind of goes the opposite way real quick, take out a bunch of stops and then go. So I wanted to just enter after that happened, if it happened, and it just didn't happen. So didn't end up trading that account that way on that one. And let's see. So then I had this kind of like weird looking wider channel up. We had a break, and it retested the ranged highs again here as support. And just didn't see any way to get in, and kind of had what looked like should need to retest the lows too. So I didn't trust anything to get in up here. And I was expecting the retest of these lows, but I also wasn't expecting that it wouldn't get the retest of the highs yet here. So at this point, I was expecting a retest of the highs still, but wasn't really sure what was happening. We got into this range, and I considered taking this second entry long engulfing. It was a flat EMA, and what I was concerned about was just there wasn't enough room to this resistance right here. There was just enough room for 4 ticks, and because I just typically go for 6 to 8 ticks, I just didn't enter thinking that maybe it wouldn't work. It would have worked fine even for 6 to 8 ticks. And then there was a LO up here. Now the arrow should be black, but I just wanted to be able to make sure I saw it so I didn't forget. And the reason why I didn't enter this, and this comes into play for later, I saw this. It looked like kind of range-like action. There was resistance, bars were stacking up, and then there was a breakout. And, you know, I figure most breakouts fail. That's kind of the Mac strategy that he teaches. And so I've kind of just noticed that taking these seems like they fail a lot. And what I'm trying to do is if I enter, and this is my LO bar, I want to put my stop just right below that and use that as my signal bar. So it would have lost for me that way. The stop, according to the indicator, really should be more down here. So either way, it wouldn't have gone far enough to the target and would have became a loser either way. So that's a good reason to stay out of these trades. And that comes into play later because I ended up taking an LO after a similar situation where we were stacked up in a range. It was breaking out and ended up getting a loss. So we'll get to that in a second. Here I took a Pat's entry. So at one point, I think the first time I drew a channel, I actually had a channel like this, which was confirmed. And maybe I should have left it. So this was confirmed because you have it start here, touch here, and a touch here. So that's confirmed. But later I changed it to this blue trend, and that way it gave it a break and a new low. And then we had a very strong couple legs down with a intact trend here. And so we ended up getting a second entry, first entry, second entry for max setup on Pats. And right at the EMA, it was a 3-tick bar, so 5-tick risk. And I couldn't pass it up expecting a retest of this low here. Would have worked for 4 ticks, but I go for 6 to 8 and was expecting, you know, a big move down. So I had a runner ready and the whole thing. And so I got stopped out, took that small loss there. So that was my first trade of the day. Very small risk, didn't feel too bad about it. The trade worked, just didn't work for 8 ticks. And, you know, I know when I'm going for more, that's how it's going to be sometimes. And that's why Mac always lectures saying that's why he teaches to go for 4 ticks only, because he's tried everything and that's what works for him. The problem is that I get so many losses on Pat setups that if I'm only going for 4 ticks, you get 1 loss. It takes 4 wins to make up 1 loss, and it's just a losing strategy for me. So I don't trade that way anymore. I go for 6 to 8, and if I'm going to get a loss, I accept it. And the way I look at it too, that why it doesn't upset me, I figure if it does work for max 4 ticks, then it's a good trade. It's a trade that he'll mark, and I'm trading according to the strategy. I had a STT up, a break, a new high at the EMA, and a reason contextually to retest the lows. So I think it's a good trade. Didn't get to 8 ticks. Moving on. So then we got a lot of range material here. I was considering taking some longs here. Didn't end up doing it. I think I even considered a short here at some point, but I already had a break in, or yeah, because I was expecting a new low from this. So I was looking to possibly short, just never quite did it and got convinced myself to get in. All of these would have worked. I think this one would have worked. This one would have worked. This one would have worked. This one didn't get high enough to get me in, but if I got in here, it would have worked. Anyway, so then getting back here, I didn't have this yellow range here at the time, and I didn't have the measured move at the time. And so what I saw here was a leg up, and what I was looking for at the time was a second leg up, which gave me a target of here. And so we were in this range, and when it broke out, just like earlier, this is so similar as the one that I showed you earlier. Right here, we're in this range, mega resistance, bar stacking up, a breakout, an LO happens, and it doesn't work. And this was exactly the same sort of thing. So I think this loss today for me cements this as a rule for me, which is something that I've only been drawing these ranges and channels for the past few weeks, in addition to my NLTS chart to the left. If you look at my earlier videos on YouTube, I wasn't drawing these, and I was just entering on my NLTS chart with a blank chart over here, no EMA or anything, and I was getting some losses, and so that's the reason why I decided to start drawing again. And so now I've seen this enough times where I think I could safely say, if it's a breakout of a range and you get an LO on the breakout, I don't think it's worth trying to take, because I'm seeing them lose more than they win. And this was a very similar thing. And again, originally I had my stop one tick below my bar. That was my LO signal. And I ended up moving it down to where it should be for the indicator. And I think I need to stop doing that. I need to just put it where the LO is. If it's going to work, it's not going to get below there. And if it's going to get below there, then it's just not going to work. And so, I put the stop where it belonged according to the indicator after it was getting close, and it stopped me out. And I thought for a second, oh, I got bottom ticked and it's going to go and work, but it still didn't work. So really, I would have been better off to leave my stop here. It would have been 1.25 points less of a loss. So I'm going to try to stick to that for my NLTS strategy and just accept the loss if it goes below that bar, for instance, on that setup. So then I found a larger yellow channel, and what I was thinking here was we had this downtrend, and I was expecting a new low. I was thinking to put a limit short here, which I really should have done because it made sense to me. I kind of second guessed whether this was legitimate or not at this point when it was coming up. But I really next time want to put a stop limit, or not a stop limit, but a limit sell order here, and let it grab me in at this resistance, and it would have maybe taken me in. Maybe it would have missed me because it just tapped it. Maybe it wouldn't have filled, but that would have been a winner. And then what I did here was, because I was expecting a retest of the new low and not any other reason for it to continue to go down after that point, I decided to do a blind limit buy order. What I mean by blind is not waiting for a signal bar or anything. I just literally placed it on the support line, and I had it there from around this area, waiting for it to tag the low here and retest it. And so it finally came down. I thought for a second that it was going to just take me in and stop me out, because I put my stop below this wick down here. But it finally reversed, and then this candle too gave me a little bit of second guessing myself whether I'm making the right move. But then it worked great, and I was able to get 3.5 point runner in addition to my 8-tick scalps on all my contracts. So that made up for some of my losses today on the 2 losses, really because because I didn't take this loss here. That should have only been 9 ticks, 2.25 points. My P&L would have been way better today if I had just taken my loss there, because I would have had the 2.25 points plus the 5 ticks. So I would have had a 3.5 point loss total between the 2 losses. And then I would have been really close to break even with the 3.5 point runner. I mean, I would have still been red, but wouldn't have been as red as I am. So, and that was really it. And then the rest of the day, I toyed with the idea of playing long again over here. I'm not sure if I would have got filled if I did. I also played with the idea of going short up here, but just wasn't really totally sure. And so just stayed out. And also same story here, was toying with playing a limit order somewhere in the range. And I think that's, in generally speaking, I want to take more of these. I want to have reasons, like the reason why I took this here. Retest the low, no reason to go any further. Clearly had support built up, and so just take a chance. They seem to work a lot. There will be losses along the way doing that, but I think if I'm not just trying to take every time it hits support and every time it hits resistance, but having that extra reason to take it, I think maybe I can do pretty well. Who knows? We'll test it out and see. So that's, I think, mostly what I have to say about today. I do have very limited days left to trade before all these evaluations come to the renewals. And so I'm going to just be more aggressive in this week and the days I have next week. And then I go on vacation after that. So I'm just going to be aggressive. I don't have much to lose. The worst case scenario, I renew these accounts, or if there's a new 90%, cancel them and buy new ones. And these evaluations are, they're struggling. So if I blow them, I blow them. I've still got 2 more PAs behind those. And this whole thing is an experiment, and that's why I'm doing it. And I'm hoping that one day I can just look back on videos like today and say, yeah, that was a day where I learned some really important lessons, and that got me to where ultimately, hopefully, I will end up being a better trader than I am currently. And, I'm learning, I'm trying to try new things. Pat's strategy clearly is not for me in terms of just depending only on that for it to work. I do think that in the long run, I'm not bad at it. I just need to, judge the situation. Like going back to the second entry short that I lost, the other thing I can say about it, this one, is that the ATR at that point was only 6.5 ticks. I have the ATR up here, so now you can see it's less than 6 ticks. So I should consider, I think, when it's under 8 ticks, I think I really do need to make a rule for myself that under 8 tick ATR, I'm going for 4 tick scalps. And if it's over 8 ticks or at 8 ticks, then I can go for 8 tick scalps. So I think, especially on Pats, I think that's a rule I need to have. Maybe I need to have that rule on NLTS as well, but I don't think that would have gave me a win. The high 74.50 is my entry, and the high 75.50. So it's a 4 tick failure on that trade as well in the LO. So, and then, when I had room in the range, the 8 ticks was fine. There's plenty of room there. So do I need to say anything else? 71% discount still going on. If you need any Apex evaluations, you can use this code or any other. I recommend not using it. Wait for an 80 or 90%. I would think there would be something for Christmas or New Year's. And I'm just going to try to be more aggressive the next 3 days this week for sure. Friday, I'm not going to have a long time to trade in the morning, maybe the first couple hours of the market, and that's it. So really just need to be aggressive and trade these accounts. Go for broke. They're either going to pass or fail or bust, and it is what it is. And I'm just going to keep trying to learn from what I'm doing every day and mold my strategy and my style of trading. I haven't found a strategy that just works. Pats wasn't doing it for me. I haven't found anything else. I've looked into other things, book map and order flow. I've kind of looked at things, and it just doesn't work for me and my personality and what makes sense for me. I'm very visual, so I'm looking for things visually on the chart that I could trade against. And I really like the idea of trading this way. So this is something I'm going to be concentrating on in the future. as well as Nlts. And then kind of secondarily is the path stuff. And if there are news items, I will YOLO some of my evaluations. I'm not going to do it on my PA accounts because I don't think they let you YOLO news on PA accounts. So I'm not going to bother trying that. But I think that's it for today. I think I've said it all, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. Please like or subscribe if you're interested in this journey I'm on, if it's helping you in any way or just interesting for you to watch somebody else that's new at trading and trying to figure out a way to put together a strategy or a group of strategies and a style of trading to become better, more consistent, and profitable, hopefully, eventually. That's just the aim and goal of this. I don't know where it's all going to lead. I'm not trying to teach anyone how to trade. I'm just trying to figure out how to make this happen for myself and just showing it, good or bad, on YouTube. All of my P&Ls and balances exposed, and just, showing what I'm doing and trying to learn from it as I go. All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.